I accidentally overheard my family laugh at me and call me their free ATM machine after supporting them for 12 years. Let me start from the beginning. I'm Sarah Chen, 34, former senior financial analyst at Morgan Stanley, and now owner of Sweet Success Bakery. Though if you'd told me a year ago this would be my life, I would have laughed. Back then, my world revolved around one thing: being the perfect daughter. I never thought I'd be one to walk away from my family. Growing up, we were taught that blood is thicker than water, that family comes first, that we take care of our own. But what happens when taking care of your own means losing yourself? Sarah, you're the responsible one, Mom used to say, pinching my cheeks even when I was well into my 20s. Not like your sister. You understand family duty. She'd say this while Jenny lounged on our parents' couch, scrolling through her phone, pretending not to hear. It started when Dad's restaurant went under during the 2008 recession. He'd borrowed heavily to keep it afloat, and when it finally sank, it took our family's savings with it. Mom's part-time job at the local library barely covered groceries, and my sister Jenny's art career was still about to take off, as it had been for the past decade. I had just graduated with my finance degree and landed my first job at a small firm. The choice seemed obvious then. I would help until they got back on their feet. Bah, we'll figure something out, I had said, fresh out of college, full of optimism and plans. He looked at me with those tired eyes. What can we do? Your mother's job barely pays anything. Jenny, he trailed off, waving his hand dismissively toward my sister's latest unsold paintings hanging on the restaurant walls. That night, I made my first transfer, $5,000 from my emergency fund to my parents' account. It was supposed to be temporary, not a 12-year financial burden. Before we continue, if you like my story so far, kindly support my channel by hitting the subscribe button. Thanks. The requests had started small at first. Sarah, your mother needs new prescription glasses. Then, your sister's car broke down. Soon it became, we need to replace the roof, and Jenny found this amazing art program in Paris. Dad never tried to open another restaurant or find steady work, claiming his pride wouldn't let him work for someone else. Mom reduced her hours at the library, saying the stress was too much at her age. She was only 55. Jenny continued painting in her studio apartment that I paid for, insisting that her big break was just around the corner. Every month, like clockwork, the requests would come. Dad needed money for his blood pressure medication. Mom's book club friends were going on a cruise, and she didn't want to be left out. Jenny needed new supplies for an exhibition that would definitely lead to sales this time, and I said yes. I always said yes. My therapist, the one luxury I allowed myself, had been warning me about boundaries for years. Your financial support has become an enabler, she'd say. But how could I explain that saying no felt like betraying everything I was taught about filial piety? In Chinese culture, taking care of your parents isn't just duty, it's virtue. I remember one Sunday dinner particularly well. It was last spring, and I'd just gotten a promotion. Mom had prepared my favorite meal. The familiar smell of braised pork belly filled the house. Sarah, you're so lucky, Jenny said between bites. All that money, and it's just you. Must be nice, not having any responsibilities. I nearly choked on my rice. No responsibilities? I was paying her rent, her art supplies, her car insurance. Jenny, Mom scolded half-heartedly, don't make your sister feel bad about her success. She works hard to take care of us. That's right, Dad chimed in, already holding out his bowl for more rice. Sarah knows her duty. By the way, May, the property tax is due next month. These dinners happened every Sunday, like clockwork. Sometimes I'd bring up my own dreams, the bakery I wanted to open, the cooking classes I longed to take. Cooking classes? Mom would scoff. Why waste money on hobbies when Jenny needs new canvases? Her art is an investment in our family's future. Then came that fateful Tuesday. I had stopped by their house unannounced, carrying bags of groceries as usual. Their voices drifted from the backyard as I approached the kitchen door. Sarah's such a pushover. Jenny's laugh carried through the screen door. Remember when I told her I needed $3,000 for that art workshop in Seattle? I actually just wanted to go on vacation with Marcus. Better not tell her that, Mom chuckled. Our personal ATM might malfunction. Then Dad chipped in. We really broke that one in good, didn't we? Always bowing, always saying yes, like one of those nodding dashboard dogs. Not like you, Jenny. You've got balls. You know how to squeeze the golden goose and still live your life. But Sarah, he snorted, she'd probably apologize for breathing too loud if we told her to. Remember when she canceled her vacation to Japan because you needed new canvases? Jenny's laughter tinkled like broken glass. Oh God, yes! She actually believed I had a gallery opening lined up. I just wanted to try that resin art trend I saw on Instagram. The grocery bags slipped from my numb fingers. Oranges rolled across the deck. I stood there frozen as 12 years of sacrifice crystallized into something ugly and distorted. Their laughter continued to drift through the screen door, each chuckle like a knife twisting in my gut. My chest felt too tight. The world tilted sideways, then snapped back into focus with brutal clarity. Every emergency expense, every grateful hug, every tearful thank you, all lies. I'd been nothing but an open wallet to them, a faithful puppet dancing to their strings. My hands started shaking. The receipt from the grocery store was still clutched in my left hand, and I stared at it. $247.83. More money I'd spent on people who saw me as their personal bank account. Bile rose in my throat. I must have made some sound because the laughter suddenly stopped. I heard chairs scraping on the deck. Sarah? Is that you, May May? Mom's voice called out. I couldn't bear to hear her call me that. Her precious daughter. Not now. Not when the false sweetness in her voice made my teeth ache. I backed away from the door, nearly tripping over the scattered oranges. Don't come in! I managed to call out, my voice sounding strange and distant to my own ears. I forgot something at work. I'll come back later. I practically ran to my car, ignoring their calls. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my keys twice before managing to unlock the door. As I pulled out of their driveway, I caught a glimpse of them in my rearview mirror. Mom, Dad, and Jenny standing on the deck, looking confused, probably wondering why their ATM was malfunctioning. I drove aimlessly for hours, circling the same blocks over and over, talk radio droning in the background. Every red light triggered a new memory. Jenny sobbing about needing money for art supplies while posting vacation photos from Bali. Mom guilt-tripping me about her arthritis medication while getting weekly spa treatments. Dad claiming he was too proud to work for others but having no pride about living off his younger daughter. Around midnight, I found myself parked outside my apartment building with no clear memory of deciding to come home. My phone showed 47 missed calls and messages. Where are you? The ice cream is melting. Did something happen? Call us. We're worried about you, May May. Dad needs his medication refilled tomorrow. Can you transfer the money? That last one broke something in me. Even in their supposed worry, they were still asking for money. I turned off my phone, walked into my apartment, and did something I'd never done before. I poured myself a large glass of the expensive whiskey I'd been saving for a special occasion. Sitting on my kitchen floor back against the cold refrigerator, I pulled out my laptop and opened my banking app. With trembling fingers, I began calculating every transfer, every loan, every gift. As the numbers grew, so did my anger. Not just at them, but at myself. How had I been so blind? How had I confused exploitation for love? I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I made lists. Lists of every sacrifice I'd made, every dream I'd put on hold, every relationship that had fizzled because I was too busy working overtime to fund my family's lifestyle. By dawn, my kitchen table was covered in papers, bank statements, screenshots of text messages, lists of emergencies that now revealed themselves as calculated manipulation. The sun was rising when I finally took a shower, the hot water mixing with my tears. But as I stood there, something shifted inside me. The hurt and betrayal were still there, but beneath them, something else was growing. Rage. Not the hot, destructive kind, but a cold, clarifying anger that made everything sharp and clear. I called in sick to work for the first time in 5 years. Then I made 3 appointments, one with my bank, one with my therapist, and one with a real estate agent who specialized in commercial properties. If my family saw me as nothing but an ATM, it was time to permanently close that branch. My hands had finally stopped shaking. The next morning, I walked into work and submitted my 2 weeks' notice. My boss, Angela, looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Sarah, you're on track for partner, she said. Think about this carefully. I have, I replied, my voice steady. For the first time in my life, I really have. Now there was only one thing left to do: cut off the leechers completely. The aftermath was intense. After I sent that final check and letter explaining that their personal ATM was officially closed, my phone exploded. Here's a sample from my voicemail. Mom, how could you do this to us? After everything we've sacrificed, what will people say? You selfish bitch, you think you're better than us now? Mom's crying herself to sleep. Dad, this is how you repay your parents? We gave you life, education, everything. The flying monkeys came next. Aunties I hadn't spoken to in years called to tell me what a disgrace I was. Mom's friends from the Chinese church sent me long WeChat messages about karma. Jenny's artist friends left 1-star reviews on my LinkedIn profile. But you know what? For every flying monkey, there was an angel. My therapist, Dr. Liu, helped me navigate the guilt. My best friend Emma let me crash on her couch during the worst weeks. Even my old boss Angela connected me with a small business advisor who helped me draft my bakery business plan. The hardest part wasn't the drama or the guilt. It was the quiet moments. Chinese New Year came and went. Mom's birthday, Dad's birthday. For the first time in my life, I wasn't there, serving tea, handling the red envelopes, playing the role of perfect daughter. But in that quiet, I found my voice. I took those cooking classes. I went on dates without checking my bank balance first. I learned that boundaries aren't walls, they're bridges to a healthier way of loving. Last week, something unexpected happened. Jenny showed up at my bakery's soft opening. She looked different, older, more serious. Your egg tarts, she said, not meeting my eyes. They taste like Mom's. They're actually better, I replied. I use butter instead of lard. She laughed, then cried, then asked if we could talk. Really talk. No money, no manipulation, just sisters. I don't know if we'll ever heal completely. I don't know if Mom and Dad will ever understand that love shouldn't come with a price tag. But I do know this. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is stop setting ourselves on fire to keep others warm. Now, every morning at 5 a.m., I turn on my ovens and start my day with the smell of fresh bread and possibility. My regulars don't know the whole story, but they always comment on my bakery's name, Sweet Success. If they only knew that the sweetest success wasn't in opening this place, but in finding the courage to say no to the people I loved most. And you know what? That's a success worth every penny I didn't spend. If you like this video, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really supports my channel. Thank you.